Picture this. You go to swipe your American Express card and here declined. You log into your account and there's a red banner at the top of your account that says your charging privileges have been suspended and you need to call customer service immediately. You check your membership rewards points and they're frozen. You can't transfer them, you can't spend them, and the person on the other end of that phone call is giving you 14 days to prove you are who you said you were on the application. That's an American Express financial review. And in 2026, Amex has been running a lot more of these, asking for harder documentation than they used to and going back to reopen files they already closed. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what triggers a financial review, how to survive one, and how to build your American Express profile so the algorithm never even looks at you twice. I'm also going to kill one of the most repeated pieces of advice that I hear in the credit community because it's wrong, it's dangerous, and following this advice can get you put into federal territory. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the Credit with Colin channel, where we talk about how to leverage your credit to acquire maximum business funding. I'm an 8-year United States Marine Corps veteran who runs a credit repair and funding company with over 25 plus employees. We fund over $5 million a month in credit and funding approvals for our clients, $124 million over the last 6 years. To fit your credit or get access to 100K plus in business funding are in the pinned comment description below, as well as the link to join my school community, where you get a personalized funding plan video from me and hard inquiry removal on all 3 bureaus completely done for you. Right, first thing I need you to understand, because almost every video on this topic gets it wrong, a financial review and an income verification are actually 2 completely different events. An income verification is small. It usually happens at application or when you ask for a credit limit increase. American Express says, hey, we want to confirm that number you gave us. They send you a reference number, you upload pay stubs or an offer letter or a tax form, and you move on. Your existing cards keep working the entire time. A financial review is the big one. American Express suspends your charging privileges across every card you hold with them, personal and business, all of it, and your points get locked and they put a deadline on you to submit the documents they're asking for. Here's the why behind it, and this is the part that reframes the entire conversation. American Express is not just a card issuer. They are the network too. It's a closed loop. That means when you swipe, American Express is on both sides of the transaction. They see the merchant, they see the amount, they see the pattern. MasterCard issuers are working with less visibility than American Express. And a huge portion of what American Express extends you is unsecured. On the charge card side, there's no preset spending limits at all. That means American Express making a live, ongoing bet on your ability to pay. So they're taking more risk. When your behavior stops matching the picture that they want to see, they don't call you and ask nicely. They freeze first and ask questions second. That's not American Express being evil. That's just them protecting their unsecured, uncapped exposure. Once you understand that, every trigger on this list is going to make sense. Most people find out the worst way possible. They get declined when they run their card. Now, here are the 4 ways you're going to know, and it shows up. Number 1 is a transaction declines without any explanation. You know you have money on the card, right? And often the card has plenty of available balance. Number 2, you log into the app or the website, and there's a red alert on top saying your charging privileges have been suspended. Call this phone number. Number 3, you get an email confirming your account is under review, and that email typically gives you around 14 days to provide what they're asking for. Number 4, you get a phone call or a voicemail from a number you don't even recognize asking you to call the number on the back of your card. And that last one matters. A cardholder missed the Amex call on both his cell and his office line and only found out because he checked the voicemail. Don't ignore an unknown call if you carry an Amex card. And when you call back, call the number on the back of your card, not the number in the voicemail. This protects you from scams and spoofing. And remember, the clock starts when they send the notice, not when you finally notice. Now let's get into the actual triggers. These come from the published reporting from my FICO forms, from Doctor of Credit forms, and from what I've seen over the years with client files. Trigger 1, a sudden ramp in spending. This is the most common one that I see all the time by far. If you've been running 2K per month for years now, and all of a sudden you run 15K, 20K through that card in a single month, you're going to get scrutinized. Real data points from February 2026 on my FICO forms. A 25-year American Express card member opened a business, ran about 3K through that card for about 5 months, then charged over $70,000 in one day to pay an HVAC contractor, and 27K the day before. Boom, financial review, 25 years of history didn't even protect him. The lesson is don't just ramp up your spending. You got to do it incrementally or call in and let them know before doing any kind of massive purchases. Trigger 2, cycling your credit limit. Cycling is when you max out your available limits, pay it off, and do it again inside the same period. One documented case, a cardholder with a 3K limit was pushing over 50K a month through it. That is a screaming red flag to American Express, the underwriters, because it means the limit they gave you doesn't reflect the volume you're actually processing. The answer is to call and do a credit limit increase, request, and submit more documents and proof of income, etc. Trigger number 3 is hammering the check spending power tool. You don't want to run this too many times. I've seen this one and I've confirmed it again and again. Multiple reports of financial reviews after cardholders use the spending power tool several times within a 1-week window. Get away with how much can you spend? That is not a customer behavior. That's more of a probing behavior, risky behavior. So my rule is use it when you have an actual purchase in front of you. Don't just check it all the time like a hobby. Trigger number 4 is a returned or bounced payment. A payment that does not clear is one of the fastest ways to get into a financial review. It is a direct signal of current liquidity and your risk. And here's a related one that people miss. Personal loan, a late payment there can put your relationship overall with American Express at risk. They look at your whole relationship, not just each individual product you have with them. 5 is a balance that goes to zero without a payment. This one sounds insane, but it's documented. A cardholder made a purchase, returned the item, and the refund zeroed out his balance. To the fraud system, it looked like a balance disappeared without a payment posting. So that can trigger financial review. So you cannot fully avoid this one. Just know that large returns, especially relative to your normal volume, will get flagged. If you're returning something big, expect that you might get into a financial review. This one's pretty obvious, trigger number 6, but buying gift cards and prepaid cards in massive volumes. American Express sees the merchant, they see the amount, they see the pattern, gift card, and prepaid loading is coded and it's tracked. American Express has run shutdown waves exactly over this. Reported reasons in those waves included buying gift cards to hit minimum spend, buying gift cards to max out Amex offers. Clients, this is a gray area, not worth your American Express relationship. I would avoid buying gift cards entirely using American Express. It's just not the one that you want to test with this. Trigger number 7, self-referrals and referral abuse. Referring yourself to collect both the referral bonus and the welcome bonus is one of the cleanest ways to really just get into financial review. That means sending yourself your own referral link and signing up for a card with it. Don't do it. Amex has retroactive scans to periodically find this. They claw back points. Sometimes they'll even shut you down and ban you entirely. I don't recommend it. Trigger number 8, rapid open and close behavior. Open bonus, cancel a card, open bonus, cancel a card. That pattern is visible and it does get scored in your internal score with them. And this is where Amex jail starts to pop up. They'll let you apply, but they're not going to give you the welcome offer. Also know the application rules. Amex runs 1 card per 5 days and 2 cards per 90 days. That is Amex. 524 is Chase. That's a completely different bank, different rule. And people mix those up constantly. Charge cards. You can do 4 cards in a day as far as charge cards. Trigger number 9, merchant categories at Amex. Cannabis is the headline example. It is illegal in a lot of states still, but legal in some other ones. And this is what Amex does. They do check this and they don't like when you spend on it. Same story with high-risk categories like using MoonPay. I wouldn't do crypto, anything gambling, stake, rain debts, etc. When those start to show up on your statement balance, that's when you're going to get triggered with a financial review. Trigger 10, a mismatch between your profile and your behavior. This is the umbrella one here. Amex underwrote a picture of you, your income, your business, your spending pattern. And when the reality stops matching that picture, that is when you finally trigger a financial review. Marriage, a new business, a big equipment purchase, divorce, a relocation. All of these are legitimate things that happen, but they're capable of triggering a financial review because of the patterns that they cause in your change in spending and things like that. Trigger number 11, extended inactivity followed by a large charge. Card sits dormant for a year, then a random 5-figure purchase lands on it. This is the same pattern as a stolen card being tested and then drained. So expect that you could be into a financial review. Right, now, here's the part I need you to lock in for. This is a piece of advice I see in the credit community being circulated around, and it goes like this. Then $73K as your personal income with American Express, because anything over that triggers a manual review. Now, I've seen a lot of different people say this. I've seen people in comments. I've seen people on YouTube. I'm in a lot of credit groups where people discuss this, and no one's ever answered why $73K exactly. And the reason I believe is because there is no reason. That number is not an American Express rule. I've talked to Amex employees. It's not published anywhere, and it doesn't appear anywhere in their terms. No one's ever really got a real answer for this. These are really just scattered BS data points and guesses. It's not an official American Express rule. And here's why this advice is worse than just being wrong. That is coaching you to put a number on a credit application that you can't support. Putting false info on a credit application is a crime, and Title 18 USC Section 1014 states that it's not American Express policy, right? So you don't want to be messing around with this. And when you go to a financial review, eventually you're going to get caught, right? It's not going to be worth it. Could get you shut down, could burn your relationship with American Express. So again, just put what you can reasonably prove for your income. On a personal credit app, you can put your own salary plus wages, bonuses, commissions that you will actually receive as well. Self-employment and business income is a little bit different. Investment and retirement income, you can put that on there as well. And if you're 21 or older, household income that you have a reasonable expectation access, your spouse's income counts if you have reasonable access to it. I hope so. It's your spouse. And that's real. It's not a loophole or a trick or anything like that. And I highly recommend doing that, right? Joint household income so you can get even better approvals. Rule 1, whatever you put, you should be able to document it. Ask yourself, if Amex asked me to approve this, could I actually it? If not, don't put that number on there. Rule number 2, have the documents ready before you apply. This is the mistake that costs a lot of people approvals. And here's the proof, right? With the right approach, real number plus paper equals approved in 10 minutes. There's a case of card holders who apply for Amex business card, listed income above that mythical 73K, and got an email saying further review was required. They uploaded their documents, pay stubs, and the approval came in within 10 minutes. So what are they actually asking for? Send the least invasive thing that just satisfies them, right? Common requests are the 2 most recent bank statements from the account you pay your Amex bill from, or recent pay stubs, business bank statements if you carry business cards, and a description of the nature of your business. One important note, not every review requires a tax form. There are plenty of documented cases resolved with just 2 bank statements or 2 pay stubs. Only escalate to the tax authorization if they specifically require it. Now, if you're watching this because you're already in one, this is your section that you're going to want to screenshot here. Here is your 7-step playbook. Step 1, call immediately, same day, not tomorrow. The deadline is real, and there are documented account closures for people who let it run out and did not call on time. Call the number on the back of your card and ask for the financial review department. Just face the music. Step 2, be exceptionally pleasant. Be super nice. It really does pay off. The 25-year card member who charged $7,000 in a day sent his documents in immediately, called, was respectful and nice, polite, and was able to get everything resolved very fast and get that financial review closed. These are humans processing all of these reviews and applications, so treat them like humans. Be polite, ask them about their day. Step 3, send exactly what they asked for, nothing more, nothing less. Do not send a pile of extra documents hoping it's going to help them. Do not send less hoping that they will just forget. Send exactly what they asked for. Step 4, have your explanation ready before you call. They're going to ask why the spending changed. Have a clean, true answer, a story to tell them. You opened a business in March, or a big life change. You paid a contractor for a renovation. You got married, combined household incomes, a specific true reason. Vague answers will extend the review. Step 5, understand your actual choice on the tax form. You can decline to sign the 4506-C. Amex cannot compel you to do so, but if you decline, they will generally close your accounts, flag your file, and it can ruin your relationship with American Express. It is best to comply. Even if your numbers don't add up, I will tell you, we've had people overstate income, submit their documents, and the review got taken down and none of their cards or limits got slashed. So just be honest, send in the documents they asked for. That is going to be your best bet here. Step 6, follow up on a schedule politely. Call it back every so often, confirm receipt, ask for a time frame, ask if they need anything else. Don't call every day, but every other day or every few days is about right. Step 7, ask for your annual fee back. If you were frozen for weeks on a card carrying $800, $900 annual fee, you paid for something you literally couldn't use for weeks. Ask for a goodwill credit for the time you were locked out, and if they close the account, you're entitled to a prorated refund on the remainder of the card year. And people literally always forget to ask about this. You're leaving a couple $100 on the table. Now, the most important part, how do you build a profile the algorithm never even flags in the first place? Number 1, ramp your spending on the curve, not a cliff. If your normal is $3,000 a month, bump it up a little bit, right? If you got to get to 15K, don't do it in just 1 month. Go to 5K next month, following month 10K, following month 15K. 2, call ahead for large purchases. Like I said, American Express has spend authorization process. Use it before the charge, not after the decline. 3, pay early and pay from the same account. Consistent payments from one verified bank account really build a clean pattern that doesn't require further investigation. 4, put all organic spend you possibly can on hold. Gas, groceries, subscriptions, utilities. Low engagement is one of the reported triggers for a pop-up jail. A dormant card is not a safe card, so make sure you're actually spending the card with all of your everyday purchases. 5, don't treat the Spower pending tool like a slot machine. Don't use it often. 6, match your limits to your documented income. If your total Amex exposure is running way ahead of what your tax returns show, you're building a trigger for yourself. So make sure your spending limits are clean. 7, keep your documents current. 2 months of bank statements, most recent pay stub, last 2 years of returns in a folder ready to go. The people who survive reviews cleanly are the ones who respond fast and submit the docs they asked for. 8, take the offer even if you don't love the rates. Don't decline an Amex offer hoping you'll get a better one later, right? You want to build a relationship, take what you could get, build it over time. Number 9, build a relationship long before you need Amex rewards. The single best protection you have is years of clean, boring, consistent history with them. So what if they close you anyway? It's not the end of the world, right? There's plenty of other lenders out there with membership rewards, 0.0%, etc. But here's what actually happens. Your Amex account could get closed, your utilization on the personal side moves, which can move your score, and your points are generally forfeited if the closure is for cause. So if you are in review right now with a big membership rewards balance, just know that those points are frozen, and yes, they could be at risk. You might lose them. Don't immediately go apply at 6 other banks. That inquiry pattern makes you look desperate to every algorithm that's going to see it. Instead, replace the line strategically. That is exactly what my team does. We look at your full credit profile, help position it and optimize your profile for the best approval odds, and pair you with the best lenders. And don't write it off forever. We've had a lot of people get completely closed out and revisit Amex later down the road, pay off their chargeback, etc., and get back in there. So financial review is not income verification. It just means they're going to freeze everything. The triggers are spending jumps, limit cycling, spending power abuse, balance payments, big returns, gift card volume, self-referrals, open and close behavior, restricted merchants, profile mismatch, and dormancy followed by a big spend. The 73K rule is BS. Just state your real income, include everything you legitimately can, and have your documents ready. The form is now 4506C form, and American Express has been requesting 2 months of bank statements or 2 months of pay stubs. If you get hit, call same day, be pleasant, send exactly what they asked for, nothing more, nothing less, and ask for your annual feedback if it takes a couple weeks or if you get shut down. As always, guys, if you want to work with my team, links are in the pinned comment description to get 100K plus in 0% funding or fix your credit, or join the school community where we'll scrub your hard inquiries in all 3 bureaus, get a personalized funding action plan from me myself. Drop any and every question you have in the comments below. I answer every single one of them personally. Really do appreciate you guys. Show some support, even if it's an emoji. Be sure to like and subscribe. Credit with Colin. God bless you. God bless your family. And God bless America. I'll see you guys on the next one. Deuces.